And yo, the Sports Bag Bros podcast is back. There was a show yesterday on Wednesday between Bias and Bosco. They just threw down a little bit, and it leads to the end of the week, which happens to be fight weekend this week. USYK taking on Fury for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world, the first time in about, 25 years? And we're going to talk about it. And of course, what else can we talk about? Basketball still going on. Playoff basketball. The Celtics gives the walking papers to Cleveland. With or without Donovan Mitchell, they were going out the door anyways. I mean, I was surprised they even played as hard as they played without him yesterday, but they did play hard until the Celtics made them realize, bro, we came in a 15.5-point favorite. We'll let you know what it's all about. There's the odds on, I guess, winners in the East. It looks like the way things are going with everybody else getting injured and banged up and all that. But anyway, fight week is here. So, USYK, Fury, heavyweight championship of the world on the line. A fight I'm not necessarily looking forward to, but it's a big heavyweight fight. So for the historical standpoint, let's talk about it.
Right. I'm looking forward to it because I want to see, the old time movie. What was it? The Highlander? There can be only one. Or maybe it's not from that movie, but you always love to see an undisputed champion in a division, especially the heavyweight division. Then you know who the man is. When there's three guys holding three different belts, or one guy has two belts because there's four now, they're all claiming to be champ. So I think it's always a good thing when you have a fight with the undisputed status on the line. And we can get deeper into that after my little monologue. After the show yesterday, Trav mentioned we had a show yesterday. Bosco was supposed to DJ. If you saw our show on Monday, you waited to the end. You heard us talk about it. But Bosco was not prepared. So I let him have it a little bit. Like, that was the point of the show. Anyway, so he said next time he has the link to join us. He might come in today. He might not. I don't know. But after the show yesterday, I saw it was a 5-point game. So I said, let me see if the Cavs can pull off the upset. Man, as soon as I tuned in, the Celtics pulled away. I'm like, man, I just wasted my time. And I felt like a jinx for the Cavs. Maybe it was my fault. Whatever. But
I did some live betting on it, and I caught it at 8.5. So I was like, bet. It went down from 15.5 to 8.5. I figured I'll be okay. And I still would have been okay regardless of when I came in. But I got that win on the live bet. And then, of course, blew it today with the Yankees. Even though they won, I did the first 5 innings. And I thought there would be 4 runs at least in the first 5 innings, 5 runs altogether, and it didn't happen in the first 5 innings. Nevertheless, getting back to the point at hand, heavyweight championship of the world. I think I might want to rephrase what I had said in terms of just not looking forward to it. The anticipation that you would typically have for a huge fight is just not there for me right now. That's it. I mean, yeah, it's the heavyweight championship of the world. And if you're a boxing person, first of all, you're going to definitely be, you want to see this. You're going to be up for it. You want to see the heavyweight championship of the world. It was almost blasphemous. Years ago, even the casual fan was interested in the heavyweight championship of the world if they were fighting. It's just not like that anymore. Now, the injury happened earlier this year, so it pushed the fight back until now, which is May. Things, I guess, happen in between time. Going into this fight, there's still skepticism about whether Usyk should still be looked at as that pound-for-pound guy after getting pretty much knocked down with a body shot by Daniel Dubois. And they're not counting it as a body shot. They counted it as a low blow, so he got his chance to get a little rest, come back and win the fight. So we'll see. And then, of course, we talk about what Fury had done. And what Fury did do was have a problem, and a huge problem, against Ngannou, to the point that where even boxing people, or at least some of them, said that he probably flat out lost that fight.
That's true. So you look at, I say Usyk lost because he got knocked out from the body shot. It was a clean blow. Should not have been ruled a low blow. So he's coming in tainted. And of course, Fury had his trash performance versus an MMA guy. So he's coming in tainted. And if you're looking from the outside, not a true boxing fan, if you know these things, you're wondering, this is the best the heavyweight division has to offer?
Exactly.
So, yeah, I can see why there's not a lot of hype about this fight. There was probably 20 times more for Garcia and Haney. Same thing for other fights. I mean, not to that extent, but you would think an undisputed heavyweight championship fight would get a lot of hype. It's just not.
It just isn't. And I'm wondering, because we're here in the U.S. and you talk about two of the champions that's going to ultimately decide who's going to be undisputed. Neither one are American. So I wonder, one from Ukraine, one from UK. Well, Americans are kind of a little selfish about these heavyweight championships. Entitled and spoiled after all of these decades. Things haven't been the same over the past 25 years since the Euros have come in and started fighting well. The Klitschko's leading the way doing it. And then even in the lighter weight, you have a bunch of them coming. Usyk now, the latest of them, coming from that area and kind of, I'm not dominating the cruiserweights, but and looking pretty damn good against heavyweights. So, yeah, the excitement isn't there. I'm still thinking because of the fight and because for America, these aren't two Americans. You just want to get to who's going to win the fight so we can find an American to try to beat them. And right now in the pipeline for Americans, I don't think there's anyone there anyway.
Well, let's say Usyk wins, Wilder wins his fight, and Usyk looks at the landscape. Who can I make money with? I just beat Fury. I beat Joshua twice. Deontay Wilder. Wilder, with all his shortcomings, he still got that thunder in his right hand.
Yeah, he did. He does have the thunder in his right hand, but we saw in his last fight against Parker, he did not look the same, could not pull the trigger. And we talked about it ad nauseum about fighters who can get old overnight. And if there ever were a fight in which Deontay Wilder went from just being, a fighter with not too many skills, but a big punch, to a fighter who has a big punch and still not too many skills, and now rusty and slow, we saw that kind of fight. There was a lot of issues with him. I don't think you get that rust off, or you don't get that lethargy off. I mean, age still is a factor there, and I think it might have hit him. He's had a lot of fights, by the way. I mean, for a heavyweight.
That's true. But it could be, too, he was at the top of the mountain, and now he's not. If he gets another bite at the apple, he might have one good night left in him. Who knows?
Yeah, and styles do make fights, but Usyk is such a smart fighter. I mean, even Fury's a smart fighter, but Usyk, being the cruiserweight, I think the lighter fighters almost always have to be more creative because not everybody's born with knockout punching, knockout power. So you do refine your skills much more as a lighter fighter than you do as a heavyweight because that power is always there. That's how you hear the stories of a guy like a George Foreman having fewer than 25 amateur fights and still going to the Olympics, or even Deontay Wilder having fewer than 25 fights, 30 fights, still going to the Olympics and medaling. You don't see that too often with the lighter fighters because, not everybody can freaking punch hard. So they hone their skills and they show their skills during these fights. But this fight here in particular, wow, should we even wait to decide who we're going to pick in terms of who's going to win?
I already said, I believe on Monday, I don't know what to expect from Fury. I don't know if he's old. He looked like trash against Ngannou. And if he comes out anything like he did against Ngannou, Usyk should make easy work of him.
Well, I'm thinking that he wouldn't come out. At least his intentions aren't to come out that way. There's always that ready-made excuse of not being serious about Ngannou, not preparing for him, not seeing right through him. And it's hard not to do it. This late in his career, being an older guy, the work is hard, trying to be a top-end fighter to begin with, being a fighter, period. The life is just such a difficult life to continue to prepare and everything that goes into the preparation. You get a guy who you think is a breather. Even people on the outside tell you, don't sleep on him. You saying publicly, I'm not sleeping on him, I'm not sleeping on him, and you just can't help yourself when he's in front of you. And that might have been the case. But now we see this new body he has in which he's lost a lot of weight. And, Paulie Malignaggi made a good point because I think someone said that he probably gave up his advantage. He didn't give up his advantage. Usyk is already at a disadvantage coming from cruiserweight to heavyweight. You know what I mean? He's outside of his normal realm. He might have grown into a heavyweight, but he's outside of his normal realm. Whereas Tyson Fury just lost a few pounds. Even if he lost a lot of pounds, he's still the bigger man by nature and can still do all of the things that he's been doing before, unless age finally shows up and prevents him from doing it.
Right. Well, two things about that. Usyk is not going to allow Fury to lean on him and rest on top of him like Wilder did. So having that extra weight coming in at close to 300 was not to his benefit. So I see why he's in better shape. He wants to be quicker. He's not going to try and use his weight to just lean on Usyk and wear him down like he did Wilder. Usyk's too smart for that. But again, going back to what you were saying about him not being ready for Ngannou or being content or, having that laissez-faire attitude, he's also 35 now.
Yep,
If he was 30, I could say, all right, he wasn't prepared, but it could be, we don't know if his body
that's true.
is giving up on him. He's 35 going on 36. So that's why I say I have to wait and see. After the first round, I'll shoot you a message. I'll give you my prediction. If neither one of them gets knocked out in the first round, I need to see him. But
I'm thinking
again,
the weight loss.
I mentioned this on Monday, being 35 going on 36 and being in the best shape physically, at least in appearance, he could have overtrained. Does he leave his fight in the gym?
That's true. And I'm thinking he knows that he probably didn't take him serious enough. And that's why he's showing that he really takes this fight serious, regardless of the nonsense he's saying outside of the ring, saying how we squash him like a bug, that he's been saying that kind of thing, for a while now. And he's gotten himself into shape because he needs to get into real boxing shape. Now, he could have been big for this fight too, because I think against Wilder, even though Wilder wasn't extremely skilled, I think it really helped. It helped that Fury was able to lean on him. You look at it and you think that Usyk is too smart for it, but at some point in 12 rounds, if he doesn't get Fury out of there, he's going to get leaned on. He's going to get roughed up. He's going to get pushed around because that's just the nature of boxing anyway. Guys banging bodies together. Usyk isn't going to just go in and out for the entire 12 rounds because I don't think even he's physically able to do that because of the cardio that's involved in getting that done for the entire fight. At some point, he's going to have to be inside. At some point, or at many points, I think there are going to be clinches, and then in those clinches, Tyson is going to be able to lean on him. Tyson's going to throw those sneaky uppercuts or even just land something. Even if it's not effectively shown, at least for us, it's going to be something that's taking a toll. And I think that's going to be another issue for him. But it could be another circumstance because I remember another fighter who was heavy in one fight, probably took a fighter lightly, and then in the rematch lost all of his weight to prove that he was still the guy we thought he was. And that was Riddick Bowe. In the first Galata fight, he was overweight, found a way out of the fight because of the low blows, got himself a decision or a disqualification, comes back in the rematch. He knew what happened in that last fight. He remembered what happened, and I'm sure he heard it around the block, and I heard his mom even tease him about it. So he came in shape to us. And then when Galata landed that shot in the second round, he went down and awkward. So his body looked like it was ready to go. He just wasn't there. He was a shell of himself. His heart is the only reason why he won that fight, and only because Galata went back to doing what he had done, got himself disqualified. And that was it. So I wonder if this could be the same.
I wasn't sure where you were going with that because I was like, hey, Galata was jacking him up in the second fight too.
Yeah, he was jacking him up. But as far as appearance goes, he came out in that second fight. We looked at his body. He was, I think, 235. And I was like, bro, he came up with the Marine shorts on and whatnot. Like, yo, Riddick Bowe gonna really give it to him this time. We already know what happened last fight. He's ashamed of it. He's embarrassed. He wants to come out here and prove that that was a fluke. And he looked perfect. Stand out, everything. Bell rings. Looks good coming out of the corner. Then when the work started, you started seeing the differences. And then he got knocked down. Man, it was a delayed reaction knockdown at that. And then he just looks just not the same that we're used to seeing. Even his inside fighting, which he's known for, wasn't that effective against Galata in the second fight. It's just that Galata's stupidity of going low and Riddick Bowe's heart that he never really gotten credit for is what got him to at least the point of getting another DQ.
Right. I tell you what concerns me about Fury, though. If you saw the face-off, you saw that Fury did not even look at Usyk. So obviously he's trying to play mind games. Mm-hmm. So is he not as confident as he normally is? Because now why is he trying to get into Usyk's head? If he was 100% supremely confident, I'm going to beat the shit out this dude. That's how he felt against Fury. Against Wilder. There are really no mind games. There's just a lot of chatter, a lot of smack talk. With Usyk, now he's trying to play mind games. Why does he have to get into his head?
Well, I'm thinking all the nonsense he spoken or had said about Usyk in the past, that's part of the mind games anyway. The name calling, trying to get him up. And we see now that Usyk isn't that kind of guy who takes what you're saying personally. He's able to compartmentalize that nonsense from his professionalism, and he shows. You know, you never really see him get emotional. Now, after fights, I remember him screaming one time after a fight. Probably the most emotion I've seen from him after a fight. And by the way, I don't give too much credence to these stare downs anyway. We saw just last week when there was a 3-minute stare down between I'm serious, you got a 3-minute stare down between Loma and what's his name? What's his name now? He's a freaking what's his name? Cambosis. That's what he is now. What's his name? But he and Cambosis had this intense stare down, and people were talking, well, it's really gonna hit the fan now. We saw how that fight ended. I mean, in the beginning of the fight and even in the middle of the fight, you saw how these levels were just that much different than one another, ending the way it did with a body shot and then a beat down. Just staring doesn't mean anything. So whether you looked at him or not, guess what? You still got to show up in the ring to get your money on Saturday.
Right. But I'm saying, is he confident like he normally is? But as far as stare downs, Errol Spence, somebody, I forget what fight it was, but they had to stare down, and then he looked away, started looking at the crowd, whatever. And people were telling him, oh, you looked away first. You're scared. You're scared.
I hate that.
He's like, man, I ain't trying to stare at no dude. He used a different word. I ain't trying to stare at no dude for 5 minutes. Man.
That's the point.
I'm doing my work in the ring. But Fury today, if you didn't see it, Usyk's right here next to him, staring at him, and he's looking in the crowd. He's like nodding, and he crosses his arms. He's smiling, doing everything he can to not look at Usyk, and Usyk's just steady staring at him. So I don't know, and I question why Usyk's staring at a guy who's not trying to look at him back. Like at some point, because it lasted like at least a minute, if not closer to 2. At some point, you'd be like, this dude ain't even looking at me. But he just kept staring at him. Well, at least the side of his neck.
You know how it is, man, with this boxing, the quirky crowd and even the quirky fighters, the closer it gets to a fight, the quirkier a fighter gets. And this is one of those deals. You know what I mean? And I think it's much ado about nothing. Something to talk about, though, because people are still clamoring for something to talk about. It's getting close to the fight. It's going to come to the point on Saturday where you just kind of be quiet and just watch them fight and see how it goes down. You know, you still got to fight. And, I mean, I'm rooting for Usyk, but I'm thinking I'm just going to go with the old guard. It's going to be Tyson Fury. I'm hoping we get something different, but hey, get a good fight, by the way, because Tyson Fury does give good fights when he's into fighting. Those fights that he had with Deontay Wilder, he needed a nice guy, a nice opponent to get him to that point. I think Usyk can do the same with a higher IQ of getting it done.
Yeah, but I also remember his fight with Klitschko. Talk about a cure for insomnia.
No, that fight was awful. I still say that was more of a case of Klitschko losing than it was.
That's one fight I will never watch again. Never, ever. John Ruiz was probably sitting at home entertained.
Blushing. Yeah, well, John Ruiz is blushing over this. Like, oh, man, they're after my own heart right now.
Right.
John Ruiz was saying. The only other fight I think was still the worst heavyweight fight I've ever seen, and I still say to this day was the Bone Crusher Smith Mike Tyson fight. Now, the Henry Akinwande fight was just a shorter fight with he and Lennox Lewis. It's just a bunch of hugging and just a two-arm octopus. That's what it was. But yeah, that Mike Tyson Bone Crusher Smith fight was the worst fight I've ever seen in the heavyweight division. Could have probably one of the worst I've seen, period. I mean, he didn't want to fight the entire night.
For a guy named Bone Crusher, he did not live up to his name.
Bone hugger, man. That's what he was that night. He didn't want to have anything. And then when he let his hands go that one time, he caught Mike and buzzed him a little bit. Man, if you had confidence in yourself, you probably could have done a little, at least for our entertainment. That's what you're getting paid for. Do a little bit more. But yeah, man, now I'm not going to say I don't see a way at all for Usyk to win this fight. He does have the skills, and skills still pay the bills. And in the heavyweight fight, though, and Fury's never been a one-punch knockout artist, but at that weight, a few of those consecutive punches can't get you out of there because those are heavy punches.
That's true. And I don't know. Like I said, I can't call it. I got a lot of questions in my head. I need answers. I gotta see it in the ring.
Yeah, so and the winner of this gets either Wilder, who's fighting Zhang on the Bivol undercard, which doesn't have BWF for anymore because of the injury, and there's another possibility that AJ there has to be a fight with AJ out there, but I think that would be 2025. Why are we waiting years for fights to happen? But we're talking 2025. We're not even at the halfway point of 2024 yet, and we're not even sliding in saying that Fury or Usyk is going to get a chance to fight. Well, Usyk probably doesn't want to have a third fight with AJ, but I do think AJ is somewhat of a renaissance man now. I do believe that he's different than he just was 2-3 fights ago. I mean, he's grown, I think, as a fighter, maybe because of Derek James. I don't know. This guy looks different. I know the competition wasn't great, but he did what he was supposed to have done, and then the Ngannou fight just got him out of there like Fury couldn't. At least gives you that interest.
I don't know. We'll see.
So, yeah. So, on that note,
I think the worst thing for AJ is for Usyk to win.
Yeah, because then
who wants to see a third fight? Who wants to see a third fight with Usyk?
People in the UK, they'll sign up for AJ every time. That dude sells out everywhere he goes. And even if that fight's in Saudi Arabia, they're going to be out there paying their pay-per-view to watch it. You know, and boxing heads, at least over in the US, are going to still watch it. You know, because, you know, it's another heavyweight fight. And AJ, people probably kind of like me want to see if it's fool's gold or is he actually taking those steps and has gotten better with time with a different trainer, different scenery, different background. Maybe so. But anyway, that's boxing. Do you want to mention something about?
I harken back to what Coach Danny said when he would get fighters who train with other trainers.
Mm-hmm.
The second they get hit, they revert back to what they used to do before he trained them. So if AJ goes in the ring with Usyk starts putting it on him again, AJ's going to do what he knows.
But you know what, though? With AJ, though, that's one thing I've seen from him over the couple of trainers, now 3 trainers he's had. He really tries to do what these trainers ask him to do. He's like Klitschko. He has that discipline. Like when Manny Stewart came into Klitschko's corner, even though he lost with Layman Brewster, he came in and he changed his game. And when things got rough, he still stuck with what Manny Stewart was teaching him. I think it might be a Euro thing. You know what I mean? So, but he talks about what he's done in the gym, the things that he's worked on. And then when you see the fight, you see him going out there doing it. And you know it's different from what he had done before. So you know he's listening to his trainer. And he's getting results now, and I think that only can help his confidence, getting the results from, okay, this trainer knows what he's talking about. I'm implementing what he's telling me to do. I'm looking good, feeling good, getting the desired result. I can see why, you know, you go into your next fight, like, you know what, you got more trust in the trainer that you have and in your own ability, and things are different. I think he'll be a different guy when he fights even a high-caliber dude next time. But
I just think he has to do more than what he's done to get another shot at the title.
And that's true, too. But once again, this is the heavyweight division. What's really there? They're trying to push Jared Anderson down our throat. You know, I don't think there's anything special about him. I mean, he better hope he can at least get a chance to box again with his issues outside the ring, running from cops in the car and all that kind of crap. What kind of life is that, man? And this is boxing life.
I mean, I see some people trying to hype up Richard Torres.
Who? Oh,
Richard Torres.
You know what? I've seen him. No, not yet. I got to see more, man. I got to see more.
I'm not impressed at this point.
Frank Sanchez is somebody who I think is pretty impressive because of his skill set and because of the Cuban boxing school. He does have refined skills, which you don't usually get from the heavyweights because they're just big punchers. But he has a nice little crack when he does it. He's a smaller heavyweight. You know, he reminds me a little bit of fast Eddie Chambers, but he does have more power. But his skills are so refined. That's what I'm thinking about. He's kind of like I wouldn't say a poor version of freaking Usyk. I think he's skill-wise, he's up there with him. We just got to see those skills against better fighters.
We'll see.
Well, and until we see that, we could pivot on to a little bit of basketball. I heard you and Bosco talking about Caitlin Clark and her debut. Well, the following night, we get Angel Reese and her debut. So let's kind of compare and contrast, or is it worth comparing and contrast? These two players play different freaking positions. People are force-feeding this rivalry, which I don't believe is a rivalry.
Well, you know, they did have they did play in the championship game. They did have the rematch this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible. I didn't see highlights of the Skies game, but I saw highlights of Angel Reese. I think she had like 8 or 10 points. I'm not sure.
12 points.
12. But they did win, right?
No, they lost.
Oh, they lost? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I was kind of keeping up with the game.
She's on a better team. They might have won it if Cardoso was playing. I know she's injured. But I don't understand why you bring in the number one pick with all this hype, and you bring her in with, was it 20 seconds left in the first quarter? Why is she coming off the bench?
Trying to make a point. You know how these coaches are. They egos. These egomaniacal, even women, female coaches have these freaking egos. She's not going to just be the face of our team. She's the face of your freaking team. People even know who the hell you are now outside of your husband or wife. Then they know her. I mean, come on.
She didn't have the best game, but, she did drop 20. The turnovers were terrible, but when you come in and your team's already down, you're trying to make a comeback. Maybe she's trying to do too much. Whereas if she's starting, let her get into the flow of the game, exactly. get her feet wet, coming in down however many points it was, and you put the pressure on her. Like, now it's up to her to bring the team back. I didn't like that.
And when she was in there, they did fight their way back to getting to respectable within the range of trying to take over the league. But then, of course, they went right back down. And, and the narrative that's been ever since the draft has begun, in fact, I think since their game together between Angel Reese and it's just, I think the people out there with their own narrative trying to push the racial agenda, they've been doing that. We got to take it for what it is because it's not going anywhere. The low IQ will continue to use the race as a reason, a rhyme, and excuse just to say whatever the hell they're saying. They don't want to give credit where credit is due because that's just how they get down. That's just how they can just convince themselves that they're doing or saying the right thing. 10 turnovers is bad in any game. She had a lot of turnovers in college, though. She had 8 turnover games, 7 turnover games. We've seen it often. She had a lot. We mentioned it last season, how she had turned the ball over a lot. And she still ends up being the best player in college basketball, especially the last 2 seasons. And people are rooting against her for no freaking reason. They're bringing up the race issue. It's unfair they're doing it. So it would be fair if they're doing it with Angel Reese and not her. We would get less blowback from that because white folks aren't going to complain about it. They aren't. They're not going to complain that if Caitlin Clark wasn't getting the buzz and Angel Reese was getting the buzz, because guess what? Candace Parker was getting the buzz. Brittany Griner was getting the buzz. Cheryl Swoops was getting the buzz. Lisa Leslie was getting the buzz. No one cared. When Sue Bird wasn't getting the buzz or Diana Taurasi wasn't getting the buzz they thought she should get, no one cared.
Well, I think that's because you're right. Nobody cared. They didn't care about the WNBA at all.
Well, why are they caring now? Because of the transgender player?
But now people are starting to care about the WNBA because of Caitlin Clark.
Exactly. But now
people are, instead of accepting that fact, like, oh, we're getting larger crowds, we're getting more attention, getting to do more interviews, they're saying, oh, it's only because she's white. Why did she get a chartered plane?
They're all getting a charter plane this year.
I heard another team didn't get a charter plane, and those players were complaining. Hey, she only played 1 game. Well, relax, man. Let the impact work. Get rolling. Let the ball start rolling. It's not going to just happen overnight.
Well, and under those circumstances you mentioned, she wasn't even starting the game because the coach has this ego to let people know that she's the star, but I'm still the coach. I got control. That's one of those egomaniacal deals. You want to talk about narcissism. Yeah, they have it too, the women. And she showed it the other day. For
a pathetic team that they had the year they had last year, she's not a starter on that team. Come on, man.
We already know better. Because when she was in there, she was lighting it up for the time she was in there. Yeah, she was getting thrown turnovers and just not looking good doing those turnovers. But sometimes, you know what? Some of those turnovers was the fault of the person she passed the ball to. They're not used to that.
Did you hear the comments she made? And people are asking for the coach to get fired.
What?
They asked her a question, and she basically said, she has some things to work on, but she was specific when she throws it in the post instead of going away and screening and moving around, much like Steph Curry does. Yeah. She's saying she should move around. She can get the ball back for an open look, but instead she kind of just dances around in place. So she wants her moving around. She wants her to break her of that. And the headline was coach's remarks urges fans to call for her firing or something. So I watched the video and I didn't find anything offensive. I was like,
Clickbait again.
What are people crying? No, but you read the comments, and they're calling her own coach a hater. Her coach shouldn't have said this. You say that behind doors. And I'm of the opinion 95 to 99% of the time, you ask these coaches a question, you get a bogus answer. The one time you get an honest answer, now people want to kill her for it. Nah,
Yep.
I'm not killing
Damn
nobody.
if you do, damn if you don't.
I'm not killing nobody for an honest answer.
Now, I've already seen the comparisons now. They're showing what Candace Parker did in her rookie year, completed rookie year, and what just happened with Caitlin in her first game. They're already making those comparisons. We already know who the usual suspects are, the biggest whiners ever. They're using that comparison because they're trying to disparage her without, they don't care. They're not even trying to be surreptitious about it. They're freaking completely overt about how much they don't like Caitlin Clark, and it has nothing to do with basketball or very little to do with basketball. We know what the agenda is. But for you to show a completed season or a meme of a completed season with Candace Parker and then show what happened in one game with Caitlin Clark and tell you how she doesn't compare at all, that's ridiculous, man.
That's asinine.
That's what they're doing. They don't care how they look. They're just going to do it because that's how they feel. We got a bunch of emotional.
Well, speaking of, you know how there's a lot of MJ versus LeBron and stuff, and you see a reel disparaging LeBron, reels disparaging MJ. Today I saw a short clip. They were dissing MJ, talking about how Byron Russell was locking him up and saying that's why he pushed off on that final shot. And they showed one possession where Russell fouled him, and then the next possession where Jordan missed the shot. But at the bottom was the score. 52-37 Bulls. How do you think that happened? Hello, the score 52-37 is showing two possessions from a blowout in the finals, and that's what you're using to diss Michael? Come on, man.
They'll find anything.
People are stupid.
Social media and regular news, which is not even really news.
Same thing for LeBron. They make a highlight of him missing dunks. Michael missed dunks too. I'm not gonna kill LeBron because he missed dunks. Come on, it's retarded. It's not like he missed. Like what? It's not like you can say, why does he keep dunking? He always misses. No, he's played 21 years.
Editing, man. The power of editing.
You're gonna miss some dunks in a 21-year career, man.
Yep. You're gonna miss free throws. You're gonna miss dunks. You're gonna miss the easy layup. You're gonna do that. We've seen a whole lot of that just in these series that we're watching now. These damn playoffs going on. But yeah,
I don't know. And if you're watching us and you're one of those people, come on, man, stop. Don't be stupid. That's stupid.
Bro, if you're stupid, you can't help but be stupid. If you're bringing this kind of stuff up, that's dumb. If it's going to be like the idiot we talked about a couple of weeks ago or even a month or so ago from USA Today, the face of the WNBA has to be a black girl. When you get that type of narrative that's able to get past the editors and go out public and no one says anything about it, but the people who are arguing about it or against it, or some people who even embrace that nonsense, we know where we're standing right now. This is what we have. And that's why it's not a surprise that it's happening that way. It's just annoying as hell that it's happening that way for a league that hasn't gotten the attention they've been craving for all these years since their inception. She's going to be the reason why everybody's starting to get paid as a whole now because the salaries are going to go up. And if she plays the way she's capable of playing, and we just saw one game, she still dropped 20, bro, there are going to be contracts that are going to go up for these television networks, and everyone's salary is going to go up just because of it. These endorsements are now, even if it's a what about themism, they're still getting endorsements now. Why is she getting more than everyone else? Well, now you're going to start giving other people endorsements who probably don't deserve them, but they're now going to get them because she's getting them. Maybe not as much, but they're getting the endorsement they hadn't gotten before. And this is what we're dealing with now. A bunch of bigots. It's not basketball anymore. That's what it is. And the biggest are not the people they've expected all these years. We're seeing how it really is now.
And this might be controversial, but this goes out to Cheryl Swoops. Yes, Black people can be racist.
And yes, some Black people are racist. No one has a copyright or patent on racism. There isn't any such thing as reverse racism either. I don't know where the hell they got that term from. You know, you're either racist or you're not. You know, if a Black person doesn't like a white person, that's racist. If a white person doesn't like a Black person, that's racist. If an Asian doesn't like a Black person, well, that's racist too. and vice versa. If a white person doesn't like an Asian, it goes around. No one has a copyright on it that says that we have exclusive rights to racism, and that's what it is. So what's the reverse? Okay, black doesn't like white doesn't like black. Okay, that's the reverse. Okay, now Chinese doesn't like white. What's the reverse of that? I mean, now black people left out in the cold now because they can't get no one can be racist against them anymore. She heard that crap from a movie. There's no way that's an original thought. She heard nonsense like that from some hood talk, hood chat, some damn movie. That's what a lot of
if you saw her comments, I know they were a while ago and we're rehashing it, but as soon as anyone starts with, but I have white friends or I have black friends or my best friend is Latino, yo, you know what's coming next is racist.
Yeah, for real, man. I mean, I don't mean to be offensive, but then you got a problem. You know, those conversations. I mean, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but okay, we got some hurt feelings coming up. Come on. But
anyway,
man,
let's get to these playoffs, man.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get to these playoffs. I wasn't here with you and Bosco when you had to get down and do what you did yesterday. But those Knicks had to get that damn revenge, boy, and put that 30 spot on this time. It had to happen. Tell you the truth,
I was surprised.
Anything left going into the Garden.
I thought the Pacers maybe had them figured out. The Knicks would be tired, but the Knicks responded big time. And now, of course, it's up to the Pacers to defend home court. But if Brunson gets rolling, man, it's hard to stop that train. It's hard.
Bro, it's still hard for me to believe that he's that guy, man. That he's that guy that can drop it like that. He dropped 61 earlier this season. He's dropping 44 the last time they played. I didn't think he was that dude, man. Once again, I'll say what I said before. When he was signed, I was like, damn, the Knicks are doing Knicks things, man. We get a dude that's almost good, but that's not the type of money you play almost good. This guy's more than lived up to his hype already. He's done it. And the injuries on the team, we know we're not going deeper. We probably get rid of Indiana, but if it comes down to the Celtics, there's going to be a problem because the injuries are just that huge. But it looks great for next season if guys can stay healthy and you can make some additions.
But the Knicks would have a puncher's chance. So you look back, the Heat got them last year, and everyone. I don't think there's anybody out of Miami that believes the Boston should have lost that series. But it could happen, if Brunson's doing his thing, if DiVincenzo's knocking down shots, Josh Hart is making all the hustle plays,
those guys, bro,
getting 15 rebounds, and Hartenstein you can't keep him off the boards. It could be a problem for Boston.
They have a puncher's chance, man, in the dark, but like a battle royal blindfolded. But man, it's just that there's so many freaking injuries. It always comes back to these injuries and guys out. And even Brunson's still playing hurt. He's just showing heart. This guy's on fumes right now. He's still throwing 44 down. The Celtics are a more defensive team. We know if you play against Indiana, you're probably going to run along with them. So there's going to be a high score. So that 44 points, I'm not going to say that it may not be that good. It's good no matter who you're doing it against. But it's not going to come that easy against the Celtics, who are known to play a little better defense than the average team in the NBA. And they have offense that can get along well. So, even with Porzingis being out for these games, he's out. I don't even know if he'll be back for the next series if they get there. Well, they're already there. They took care of Cleveland, got him out of there. But, yeah, man, I was just surprised with the Knicks being able to drop. I was happy, too, being able to drop that 30 spot on them after what happened in Indianapolis. Whew, that was brutal. But the Knicks get in. All right, we get a chance to try to finish us off on the road. Let's see how that goes.
I just remembered one thing. Next weekend is Memorial Day weekend. I'm going to Indianapolis to visit family.
Yeah.
And the Fever are in town. And I reached out to my cousin. She's a doctor, and her group, they have a suite at the stadium. I was like, Are you going to any Fever games? She's like, I don't know, but I'll call you if we get the suite. So fingers crossed. I might
think that
might attend a WNBA game. I never thought I would.
That's true. But this is a phenomenon that's going on. Even if it doesn't turn out to be a long-term thing because things may not be exactly what they are, for the chance that it may happen, bro, right now it's hot enough for people who probably hadn't gone to a WNBA game, and if it just happens to be a game with the Fever to get a chance to see Caitlin Clark, bro, just the curiosity factor, man. If you got a chance, you got a chance. You do it. I would do it if they were close by. I'll definitely check them out.
I'm gonna go if I get the opportunity.
I never
But
thought I'd get caught dead at a WNBA game, man.
let's
Why
get
the
back
kid?
to the playoffs. Oh, look, I don't want to lose followers, listeners, watchers.
For real.
Luca, I said yesterday, Luca has good game, bad game, good game, bad game. He had
Yeah,
another good game on the
yeah,
road. So now the Mavericks have an opportunity to close it out at home.
and that's true. But you know what? The one constant they did have is Luca. We haven't heard too much of Kyrie throughout the damn playoffs. It's
Yeah,
been Luka.
he's been kind of just chilling. He only had 12 points.
He has to be
Obviously,
the guy that, that assassin when things aren't going well with Luca. He needs to be that secret weapon that's not a secret.
that's true.
And
But
anyway,
maybe they just, I don't know. Maybe they're relying too much on Luca. Maybe Luca's got to say, "Hey, Kyrie, I don't have it tonight. You take over." Maybe they haven't worked that out yet.
man, I'll tell you what, Chet Holmgren hasn't been doing what he needs to do in the playoffs either, man. At least not right now. I think 13 points last night. Whew. I mean, I'm expecting more from him. But you know what? If he doesn't get his points, I'd like to see him get his rebounds, and he's good enough handling the ball to where he could get some assists too from the spot, from the center spot, but he didn't do either. Last night, he's got a couple of points that are apparently not good enough at home. They're another team that scores a lot of points as well. Not like Indiana, but they score some decent amount of points. And I thought at home, young guys again got overwhelmed by the old guys and maybe out once they get to Dallas. But can you really trust Dallas at home though? Even in the playoffs? They had their hot moment, but it was before the playoffs.
Yeah, not really. But we talked about it before the playoffs started that of all the top teams, I think OKC had the best shot of getting bounced early.
Yeah, that's true.
Considering how Denver's responded to the T-Wolves, I don't think Denver's going home. But sticking with the Mavericks, they've started playing defense, and I'm kind of a bit stunned. Even Luka plays defense and Kyrie plays defense now. Not that they're stoppers, but
they get in your way.
They try. They try.
Yeah.
Whereas before, it looked like they didn't give a damn. So
yeah, a bunch of damn
Jason Kidd, I think he's pushing the right buttons, at least defensively.
Yeah, and well, it looks like Dallas. I mean, I don't trust them, but I'm thinking the way Oklahoma City is right now, OKC, on the road, probably too much to ask for with this much pressure on them. Lose, move on. Win and move on for Dallas. Luka hot in front of the home crowd. I think he puts it together. They take care of him. But the game tonight, though, is what we're talking about, closing the doors. We're talking about a possible 4 games in a row that Denver would have won if they go to Minnesota and do what they've done in Minnesota already, beating them.
Yeah, they're undefeated in these playoffs in Minnesota.
Yeah, right? Come on. The wrong home team.
They need a strong effort from Karl Anthony Towns, and I think they're going to get it from Ant. But even it can't just be them two either. The first 2 games, it was a total team effort defensively and offensively. But the thing is, Karl Anthony Towns, a lot of the times, he has a guy he should be dominating in the post. And especially if it's Caldwell Pope. Get your ass down in the post. I think I said this on Monday. I don't know why. He got injured out by the 3-point line. Why are you trying to take a guard off the dribble? Throw it back out, go post up, dominate inside.
Yep.
It makes no sense to me.
But you know what?
He maybe he put the pressure on himself, calling himself the best shooting big man of all time. So now he thinks he's got to show his handles. He's got to show his range. I don't know. But if you have a guard on you, get your ass to the post.
Yeah, we can't do nothing with you. He's not supposed to, at least. But man,
or at least force a double team and then get somebody an open look.
Well, they'll get a chance to do that tonight, man. But I'll tell you, it seems like the secret weapon that's not necessarily that big a secret, man. The way Aaron Gordon's been playing. Bro, anybody thought he would be an X factor at any point? I mean, it looks like he's being somewhat of an X factor now when other guys aren't really stepping up. Michael Porter hasn't really stepped up. In this past game, he didn't. But shoot, Aaron Gordon, man, I think 18 points.
Yeah, Aaron Gordon's having a hell of a series,
And some
man.
rebound. Yeah. I didn't see him as being that guy, man, but he's showing up and getting it done.
I think it has to do with they're switching up who's guarding Jokic, and then there's whoever's guarding Gordon is still paying attention to Jokic and freeing up Gordon for easy putbacks or alley oops, and they're letting him roam along the baseline way too easily, way too easily.
Now I'm starting to see as this playoff is playing off or playing out. I'm thinking about Jokic and how I was like, this year here, I'm kind of skeptical about him winning the MVP. Bro, forget about it now, man. I mean, if it shows when the lights are on, I know it's a regular season award, but man, during the playoffs, he's absolutely phenomenal now. I mean, he was the only guy that didn't have a turnover, and he had the ball in his hand the most. Come on,
Yeah.
this is a center here, that passes the ball. And the only guy on the team that did not have a freaking turnover. God, Caitlin, watch him. Come
And
on now.
I talked about, or I mentioned a bunch of times how Ant was going for their throat.
Mm-hmm.
Now Jokic is going for their throat, but he's doing it differently. Different.
You
What
put
the
him in
hell
a
did I
sleeper
just say?
hole.
Differently.
You put him in a sleeper hole, man.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say he's doing it like a sniper, from the 30th floor window, quietly, quietly, not like Ant coming like Michael Myers. I'm coming for you. You know what I mean?
Bro,
Different style, but same mentality.
I just don't know how he does it, man, because he's not athletic. We talked about that before. We saw it, and we look at the reports of when he was coming out in college. He was a second rounder for a reason. And when he was not college, when he was coming into the league, and they were talking about how his athleticism is not this. They didn't have any good thing to say about him. It's like somebody them just gambled on him, like, okay, let's just get this guy. He happens to be there. And then for him to turn out like this and then do a lot of what they're talking about, doesn't have the explosiveness, doesn't have the athleticism, but he does have the IQ, and that matters a lot when you talk about spacing, knowing when to do things, and kind of fooling people like he does. When he could just, on his assist when he's coming down the court, just has that awareness. Bro, he's everything you want in a player, and because of the way he plays, if he doesn't get some type of catastrophic freak injury, he'll be around for a while because he's not extending himself as much as these other guys where you can see it in their face how hard they're playing every time they're out there.
Yeah, well, let me drop this nugget, then I'll say something else. If the T-Wolves win today, I predict Nuggets fans and probably Malone will be crying about the referees. Then the conspiracy theories will come out. The NBA wants a game 7. But as far as Jokic, he was kind of reminiscent of a king doing the dream shake or, showing the ball and coming back the other way.
Yeah.
I mean, he was throwing left-handed hooks. He was throwing dimes. Man, he was in his bag.
Was he? Man, my man went trick or treating.
I was like,
yo, June didn't come yet.
And he got Big Perk talking about top 10, and we mentioned it before. If he plays at this level for a few more years, he's definitely top 10. But the game he had the other night, you can put that game in almost the top 10 of all-time top 10 playoff performances. He's up there, man.
He's up there, and there are going to be people who don't want to put him up there. There's like, it's almost like boxing. You talk about a Mount Rushmore of boxing that you can get a consensus of people who really know their boxing to make, and you'll probably get the same 4 guys, more times than not. And in basketball, you have your top 3, 4, 5 guys. I guess a Mount Rushmore will be 4 guys, and it's kind of interchangeable. You can kind of sneak someone in there, that may be deserving because they're there. Like Wilt Chamberlain, you mentioned number 1, mentioned number 2, and Wilt Chamberlain's like number 4 or close to 5. You're like, wait a minute, Wilt should be 2, possibly 1. But MJ right now gets the consensus number 1, even though people are trying to throw LBJ out there. Some people might not even have LBJ in their Mount Rushmore. But then you talk about LBJ, you talk about Michael Jordan, then you do give Wilt his flowers, and then you talk about other guys, but then have Kobe like number 9 or 10. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy, but you need to come to a consensus of great players. I mean, it's very difficult. But Jokic, I think he can break into that if he constantly wins championships. If he gets these.
Did we do a show on that?
On what?
Top 10 NBA players?
No, I don't think we did it. No, we did
football. We got to do that one day. I thought we did.
No, I don't think he did.
Oh, I know. When we did MJ versus LeBron to end the debate. That's what I'm thinking of.
But we still got to come up with a top 10 NBA.
But I saw a thumbnail for a video that says Luka is better than Bird. No, not yet. Come on, man, stop.
See, I don't want to be one of these old heads.
Can he get an MVP first? Can he win a championship?
Yeah, exactly. But I don't want to be one of these old heads that's hanging on to our old guys and not giving these young guys what they deserve when they really deserve it. Right now, Luka doesn't deserve to get that Bird comparison, especially like that. Not right now.
If somebody wants to say Jokic is playing better than Bird right now, I can't dispute that.
Exactly. You can't dispute it. If you say Jokic or Bird, bro, we got to roll. We got to say something.
Luka's not up there right now. No, he's not.
Nah, and he'll get there if he continues to do what he does. He did lose weight in the offseason, which he said he wanted to do, and it seems like it's working out. Now, he might have gained it during the course of the season with all the rest they've been giving him in the injuries. But he's played better this year as a smaller player than he was last year, and it shows. And hopefully he can keep this discipline to where the weight doesn't become an issue. But anyways, that's what it is.
What do you think about Bronny?
Man, I feel bad for the kid. Like I said before, this is a guy who should not even have the opportunity to go to the NBA. It should not even be a thought of him even testing the waters. In fact, that should be like a gag, a joke. That should be a skit on like Saturday Night Live. That's what it should be. When was the last time you saw anyone with fewer than 4-5 points a game, literal heart problems? We're not talking about he's not tough. He has a heart problem like freaking Fred Sanford. That's what we're talking about here. Bro, that's serious.
Hopefully he's cleared of that.
Yeah, he's cleared.
Here's my thing, though. People are saying in the workout he made 19 of 25 or 23, however many was 3-pointers and this and that.
Yeah, I heard about
that. Then in the scrimmage, he had 4 points.
And we saw that. Because remember the video we watched with Klay Thompson when he was coming back from injury, just dropping it, butter. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can show people, those same people, I can show them videos of Ben Simmons splashing 3-pointers.
You know what? I saw those too.
What to do in the games. So, I mean, miss me with them workout videos.
When the game starts or that game surrounding starts, when all these other dogs are trying to get into the NBA because of the NBA combine, and your ass gets 4 points, bro, you're right around your average anyway. So you are who we thought you were. You're a 4-point guy.
And it might seem like we're coming. It might seem like we're coming off as haters, but I mean, just stating the fact,
guy, man. It's not hate.
It's not hate. I mean, if he dropped 25 and did that in the workout, I'm like, yo, he's looking good.
He's legit. You know what? You can't say anything else different.
He dropped 4.
But dude dropped 4. And bro, and that's just what it is. And then, and then you think about it, like, whoa, he's averaging just under 5 points a game in college. Bro, he is who we thought he was among his peers. And these are the elite of the elite peers. And he's done exactly what he did when he played, averaging 19 minutes a game and still squeak it out just under 5 points. Man, I wish it didn't happen to him like that. And sometimes it always came across to me. I always looked at this guy and wondered, did he love basketball or is he forced into this damn game? Doesn't necessarily want to do it, but he can't tell anybody no. He doesn't really want to do it. I like basketball. I don't love it. Bryce may be different, where he may love basketball because he's looking damn good when he plays from what we see so far. Mm-hmm. Things can change there too, but he looks more of the guy that should be pushed to the forefront.
Yeah, that's a question that could be answered maybe in 7 to 8 years when he's no longer in trying to play professional basketball. But we'll see. I mean, who knows? He may bud into a great career.
Well,
we have to wait and see. Yeah.
I mean, you know what? Going by
it doesn't look like it, but
yeah,
you never know.
Well, we've watched a lot of freaking basketball and sports our entire lives, man. We've seen the guys who we thought were going to be great that weren't great. We saw the guys we never heard of become great, or even good and solid. You get guys like Anthony Mason, not great, but he had a pretty decent career. Charles Oakley, these guys coming from HBCUs. And we're like, man, these guys have turned out to be solid players. So that means they were that better at that position than somebody who came from one of the major schools like Kentucky, you know what I mean? Or even Duke. And yeah, you could say that because they're in the league and those guys weren't, or they, at the time they were playing. But man, I just can't see this guy do with his body of work doing anything in the NBA. It just, man, those are freaks of nature when you do get to the NBA with the talent those guys have. The athleticism these guys have. You can say what you want about the rules.
Here's another thing. He had a 40-inch vert. Since when do they let him get a running start?
A running start.
Yeah, he got a running start to hit the.
Oh, in the NBA, I think their combine allows you to do the running start.
It didn't before.
They did it? I thought they allowed that. I've heard that before. I thought I saw it before.
Guys that were always in the standing position.
Correct me if I'm wrong, man. I could have sworn that. I know the NFL does the standing.
Unless they changed it recently when I haven't been paying attention, but
because it makes a lot of sense that in the NBA, if you're running, you're going to be at your highest when you freaking just jump up to get to the rim. In football, yeah, you might get a jump ball, so you're not doing any running. The only jump ball most times in the NBA is in the beginning of the game, or the other jump balls you might end up getting. But yeah, I could have sworn it was, but maybe you're right, man. Maybe it was a standstill and wasn't a running start, but I could have sworn it was a running start. But nevertheless, 40-inch vertical, if someone's going to swat it out your hand anyway, why you try to finger roll it? What good is that? So yeah, so we'll just wait for tonight's game. And one thing finally before we leave, our guy, I don't even know if you know it because I was just ran up on it yesterday. I was like, damn, I wonder if Byers knows this. Our boy Luis Arias playing for the freaking Padres.
Oh yeah, I saw he got traded, and
when did this happen?
He had a walk off his first game with them.
What the hell happened? I'm looking at the roster yesterday. I'm like, wait a minute.
The Marlins suck, and the Padres needed a lefty second base.
Why is this guy the one getting traded? He got traded from Minnesota to the Marlins. I'm wondering why the Yankees not getting this guy. I mean, seriously. I mean, his batting average, he's back up to 300 now because he fell under that during the season.
I told you it was early.
Yeah, but God, I'm like, it's ridiculous. I'm like, this guy here, man. Come on, man. The Yankees kind of, it seems like no one wants him. Let the Yankees get him, man. We need somebody who could get a more reliable bat. Things are looking better for the Yankees now anyway, but man, this looks like a long-term deal for this guy. I hope he doesn't turn out to be one of these players that's bad in the locker room. I doubt it. I don't know. But man, it baffles my mind when a player like this gets traded often.
All I know is that guy can handle the bat, man. That's all.
That's what I'm saying. Now he doesn't get a lot of triples or even doubles, but bro, you need that contact in a freaking leadoff spot. That's what you have. But anyway, God, and a team like the Yankees that have allegedly all these sluggers that aren't slugging right now. But anyway, but yep, that's where we are.
So wait, let me mention one thing. Preakness Stakes is Saturday. My horse, Mystic Dan, came through.
All right, trying to go for the Triple Crown.
You got to ride with the horse that gets you there. But let me just say, I also like Imagination.
Are you gonna go into the trick bag and get some money out for these guys, or one or the other?
I can't discuss that.
Oh well, yeah.
That's private info, bro.
Oh, all right, because I just come up with my live bet. So when I catch an L, I catch an L. I'm about to catch another L tonight. Do some live betting on this Minnesota game. These over-unders have been ridiculous, man. Teams are just completely stagnant, scoring like 48 points. Bro, you're like the best players in the planet, scoring 48 freaking points when the over-under was expected to be 54.5, 55 for the quarter. Craziness. Anyway, oh my God. The only one I can rely on is the freaking Indiana Pacers and the Knicks, because at least they get that. Well, not yesterday. I lost that freaking third quarter. The hell out of here. But anyway. Well, this will be the end of it. But Saturday, the fight is coming on. USYK Fury. We should have an undisputed heavyweight champion of the world by the time this is said and done. Hopefully there isn't any controversy. Hopefully there isn't a draw. And if there is a draw, let it be a great fight that led to a draw. No, I mean, no controversy, but I can see how the writing could be on the wall when it comes to boxing.
So here's a question. Why isn't a championship fight 13 rounds? So then that would reduce the chances of a draw. You know what? Because you'll have some moron that puts a freaking even round somewhere. Like that kid, what's that guy that played Joe Louis in the movies years ago? Wallace, I forgot his name. Anyway, he decided to become a judge. And I think 36 rounds, he had like 20 plus even rounds. Yo, bro, you gotta go. You can't be a judge anymore. But anyway, yeah, man. So yeah, you don't want boxers to be judges. But anyway, he's Bias. I'm Trav. The Sports Bag Bros podcast is gonna be signing off and looking forward to the fight this Saturday. We're not necessarily looking forward to, but this is the only thing on other than the Preakness. Until then, deuces. Adios.